So, David, I've given my view on the rationale for a new society, but you probably will think that I've left out some fairly important things, or at least you might want to put things in a different way. So here's your opportunity.
Thank you, Brian. I think the rationale for the new society is clearly the most important point. And I think we both agree that the philosophical case underpinning everything is that mathematics is clearly one subject. It's a continuum from the very pure and to the very applied. And we believe that by having an organisation which represents the broadest range of our community, including the mathematical physicists and all of the other new branches of applied and applicable mathematics, that we can do the best job for our community. On the membership side, which you didn't mention before, clearly we believe as a single society that we should do far better than the combined membership of the previous or the current two societies. The LMS and IMA combined have a little over 7,000 members, and this doesn't fare very well in comparison with our sister societies, the Institute of Physics and the Royal Society of Chemistry, for example, who have figures around 34,000 and 44,000 members respectively. Our membership numbers are also poor when you compare the number of graduate students that come out with a maths degree every year, which is substantially higher than the numbers coming out with physics degrees or with chemistry degrees. So we should do much better than we currently have been doing. The other thing that a new organisation should do is to start the rationalisation process of the plethora of existing bodies representing mathematics. The fact that we don't speak as a single voice is a big handicap in our community, and that's been perhaps the biggest driver over the years in the IMA and LMS working together. Really, we need a single voice, a clear voice, a voice which speaks proactive rather than reactively for the community. There is one other aspect, of course, that's been driving change within both society, and that's charity law. The Charity Commission requires us to demonstrate our public benefit in the broader sense. We have to engage outside our community as well as within inside our community, and therefore both societies over the last 10 years have changed significantly, and whether the merger goes ahead or not, they will continue to change in that direction. So we cannot stay as small, very focused organisations with the pressures from outside and other activities, for example, Charity Commission. And we believe that there's a need for mathematics to be better represented internally so we could do a more effective job for our community.
Yes, one of the things which has been put forward is that in the United States you have the American Mathematical Society and SIAM, which it is said represent pure and applied mathematics, and they seem to be successful. So why shouldn't the LMS and the IMA continue as they are and be just as successful?
This has been an oft-asked question in our trip around the community. The comparison between IMA and SIAM and LMS and AMS are superficially correct. However, when you look at the scale of activity of the societies of America as compared with our societies, you'll see big differences. The AMS is a professional and learned society which is significantly larger in membership numbers, over 32,000 if I'm correct,
yes,
as compared to 2,500 members in LMS. It has a much broader membership, including people with interest in the history of mathematics, maths education, and a broader base of people in further education as well as higher education organisations. Therefore, in some sense, it looks a bit more like the society that we might want to create as a unified society rather than the LMS. SIAM, again, is a powerful organisation, substantially larger than IMA, which, because of its size, can do many jobs more effectively than our societies can presently, but it also has a much broader applied mathematics base. They include many computer scientists and other people who wouldn't traditionally live within a mathematics community in this country. So we believe, I'm sure you would agree with me, that it's appropriate in this country to have a single society where we can be more effective at lobbying with government, speaking for our community, representing our community internally, than in American context where they're far larger.
Yes. Yes, I mean, the interesting fact is that if you look at societies around Europe and the United States, the ones which are the most active in terms of representing the interests of their members are also the ones which are the biggest. The actual figures for the American Math Society is that it has exactly 6 times the population. The country has 6 times the population of the UK, but the membership of the AMS is 12 times that of the London Math Society, which shows that size does matter. And as I said, the experience in Europe is that this is absolutely the case there too.
We should mention that our sister societies, the Royal Statistical Society, Institute of Physics and Royal Society of Chemistry, have all become successful science societies through a merger of the various elements of their community, essentially the professional side, those outside academia and internally. It is a successful formula within this country and is appropriate in this country, and especially so because we believe it will unite the applied and the pure communities back together where they should never have been separated in the first place. I also believe the threats in our community are more acute than they presently are in the United States. The SIAM and AMS independently have paid lobbyists within their organisation who make an effective case to government for supporting mathematics. We now do an effective job in speaking to government, and mathematics is mentioned many times by the government, but often there's lip service paid to mathematics rather than real money and finances. And as you know, EPSRC has many threats in the pipelines for the mathematics community.
Yes. There are a lot of fears, both on the councils and in the general mathematical community in universities, about the reductions in the funding of mathematics. But we must not adopt a drawbridge mentality in which we just say, oh, everything is terrible, pull up the drawbridge, don't do anything. We have to take active, proactive steps to try to improve the situation.
Another example of where the idea of a new society would be of benefit is in trying to drive up the standard of mathematics in schools. We all know in universities that the standards of mathematical education of our undergraduates has been questionable, and whether the standards have been dropping in recent years. Part of the problem is the training and the sufficient supply of good quality mathematics teachers in schools. We as a single society can engage in a dialogue and an improvement of the standards of school level mathematics through the improvements of teachers' abilities at mathematics.